never a dull moment in the National Football League. And when you've been in it as long as I have been in it, it's not the first time I've been through something like this, okay? And it is what it is. I think I told you guys this my first time last year when I got here. There's 3 reasons why I came here. One, my respect for Hugh Jackson. I still have tremendous respect for him. He's a really good football coach, okay? And I don't want anybody ever to misunderstand how I feel about that. So's Todd Haley, okay? And go way back with that, even with his dad, Dick. Guys that I have grown up with in this league and respect and understand. But it is what it is on how we go about doing this thing. Second reason I came here was there was a lot of the defensive guys that were high on my list that I was trying to draft anyway and didn't get a chance to coach them, so I thought maybe I might want to come here and see if I could coach them. And the third reason was, and I smiled when I told you guys that last year, was everybody's telling me don't go. You know, and the worst thing you tell me is dare me or say I can't do something. So in that respect, I enjoy being here. I've been in several organizations, several buildings. There's an awful lot of good things here. We've got to win. That's what our business is about winning. We're a lot closer than a lot of people think, especially this year. And, you know, especially about 4 of those games when it comes down to 11 points or less in the games, and we got to find some ways to make a few plays to get us over the hump. But make no mistake about how much I respect Hugh, how much I respect Todd, and all the thing about that. And I want to get it out there right now is you're wasting your time asking me any questions about that, okay? I'm on to the day. This is the time of what we're doing. It's about taking the step here today, and as the players respond and understand about what it is to do your job. You know, another very close friend of mine in the league is Bill Belichick. How many times have you ever heard him say that, do your job? Okay, it's about all of us, everybody in this building, doing our job. From a player to a coach to an owner to a GM to a scout to a ticket sales, doesn't make any difference. We all got to do that. That's what makes the organization sound. Players, okay, getting closer. I like their response. Their response, you know, of all the confusion, all the different kind of things, the dysfunction. You got to settle down. You got to do what you got to do. Okay, this is what we have to do. And if you're not afraid to compete, then you belong. If you're afraid to compete, you don't belong. That's what this business at this level is all about. We got 8 games ahead. It's about taking the next step today, and we'll get to tomorrow after we get done grading today. And after we get done there, we'll get to Friday. And after we get to Friday, we'll get to Saturday. And now let's go play the Kansas City Chiefs. I have tremendous respect for the Chiefs. Andy Reid and I go way back. There's several guys on that staff that I've been on staffs before with. And then Andy and I used to go head-to-head at Philly and Washington twice a year in the same division. I see so much of the same similarities when I watch the film so far, but he's come a long way too in the adaptation of what they're doing offensively with their quarterback and adjusting to what he can do and how he goes about doing it and bringing some of the spread stuff from college into the National Football League. So we got our work cut out for us there in all 3 phases. Look forward for that opportunity. But the big thing is that, you know, when you take a look at the players today, you saw the players when you came in here today, is that their comfort level is getting back into a routine here and doing their job. The comfort level is going about competing at the highest level in our sport, in the world, competing, and that every day is an interview. You got to get ready to roll, okay? Let's get better today, one day at a time. So, on to the Chiefs. Questions?
On this, on your future possibly as a head coach, is this in a way an addition for yourself, where you're looking in your own mind to see if this is something you still want to do?
You know, and that's a legitimate question. You know, since I left Buffalo, I've had 11 letters sent in to interview for head coaching jobs, and all of them behind the scenes I have, and 4 of them I didn't even have to show up, just signed a contract and come. But, you know, the structure has to be correct, and, you know, I have my thoughts on how things have to be done. I like things here a lot. I will tell you this, is that my biggest, and right now, all my focus and concentration is on this week. And then let's build weeks upon weeks upon weeks and see how much we can. And I can't ask the players to look ahead if I'm looking ahead. You don't do that, okay? This business is too tough to do that type of stuff, and you've got to go. Today, let's add up each day, continue to press on and do better each day, and we'll wait and see how the outcome is.
Being the defensive coordinator was obviously a full-time job. So how do you do both?
You know, when you guys ask that, I can tell you don't know. And that is one of the things when I left, Buffalo was, and I've talked about all those other spots that have called me, is that I'm never not going to do both or do all three. And the reason being is, you know what is fun about sitting in the chair of being a head coach? Coaching football, not coaching marketing, not coaching scouting, not coaching ticketing, not coaching analytics, okay, coaching football. So why would I not do that? And when people say you can't do that and be the head coach, you don't know. How does a quarterback get in the huddle and play quarterback and coach all 5 offensive linemen, all 3 receivers, and the running back? He got to do more than just his job too. So the fun part of what I do is I'm not going to give that up ever again, okay? It's fun coaching, and there's lots of really good people in this building. There's lots of good coaches on this staff. They got to do their job. I got to do my job, okay? And then the one thing that falls silent is that on game day, they got to do their job. The game is about the players on game day. Coaches assisting the players. So much of Monday through Saturday is coach. But come game day, it's players. And then managing the players and helping them win. But it comes down to the execution in the game by them. We don't coach poor execution. So you got to do it on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And it's not a mistake. It's not surprising that you do it right on Sunday. So we got to have more good days like we did today. We had a really good day today. But I would have been shocked if it wasn't that way. It was very good today, and you can ask those guys about that when you talk to them again.
Rick, you're like a risk taker as a defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Do you have to dial it down, or will you be a risk taker as the manager?
And when we talk about risk takers, is that what I've done defensively everywhere I've been is adapt a system or scheme to fit the player profile and the needs systematically of how offense, defense, special teams work together. We've had a lot of really good meetings here, I've had with Freddie and Amos and stuff, because I've done their jobs too, Belichick and I are the ones I've done all those jobs at some point in time in my life. I've coached all the positions and all that. So we got to be in sync together. And then when you're talking about risk and or the dynamics of going forward too, dynamics of fourth down, dynamics of pulling the trigger on a pressure or not a pressure, all those are calculated, and it's because of all the time and energies we put in during the week on making the calculated risk, thinking about doing it. But then the best players I've been around and the best coaches I've been around have a really good instinctive feel on game day. There's a feel, and you got to check your ego at times because of the feel you're having at the situation. Okay, change the situation. But then when you change that situation, there's 11 guys out there that have to execute. Okay, 11 guys around the ball, 11 guys on the ball. Okay, those are the things we have to do. So we'll be in sync, and there'll be, a lot of things that we've discussed. And right now I'm wearing out a lot of people upstairs, with a lot of meetings that are going on that are, it's fun for me to see the smiles on their face, because maybe I might know something besides defense. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Because you passed on.
To say it again?
Greg, was there any hesitancy on your part to take this?
I will say this, Pat, is that I was shocked. The hesitancy was not again, and I stepped away. I stepped back, but then it came back to this. I can't spell quit, let alone do quit. I'm not going to quit on these players. I'm not going to quit on this organization. I'm not going to do whatever. You know, that's just how I had to feel. And when we went through the process, you know, we went through the process, and now let's get on to Kansas City. So I blinked a little bit.
You installed any new rules or anything?
Do what?
You put your stamp on anything yet? New rules?
No, things were being done here really well, and things are done very well in lots of areas of this building. And I tell you this, there are things that it's the best I've ever been around in this building, and with you, and lots of different people, with John. So, and they were already letting me be me. You guys were seeing me be me. So it hasn't, there's not any change in that. You know, the offensive guys get to hear a little bit now. Special teams guys get to hear a little bit now. But I mean, but there's not any pushback or anything. They know that everything's meaning well. And for the most part, when I say this, is that when I do some of those things that people go, it's premeditated. I got to get you to focus. Maybe even you guys. Okay, refocus. Okay, sometimes I got to refocus too, but it's premeditated, and they have responded, and we got to get on. You know, this is a tough business, and if you're not tough, you don't belong. You don't belong at this level if you're not tough.
Did you have to have a talk with Miles about his questioning of the game plan or anything like that?
I didn't see anything about that until later on, and you know, and my interpretation is that I didn't interpret him saying that when I saw what he said, and we talk about that every day, you know, and he and I talk about it every day, and people handle frustrations differently. Okay, you guys going to point things at me? I'm asking you right now. Sometimes you do too. Okay, sometimes my wife does. Okay, sometimes my kids do. Okay, I'm okay. I've been okay my whole life. One of the biggest gifts I tell the coaches that get a chance to work with me and players is that my biggest gift that I give you, if you have a hard time taking responsibility, blame me. They've heard me say that over 100 times here. Just blame me. You can't take responsibilities. Just blame me. I'm okay with it. Now, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Okay, we're going to discuss it. But there are people that respond that way. That's just how they are. And again, some of you guys have kids. You know, I have a bunch more kids too. It's crazy on some of the worlds and how we accept excuses anymore. My dad didn't accept very many excuses when I was growing up. Okay, so it just is what it is. He's fine. He is totally fine. It's really a non-issue.
With Baker, what kind of relationship did you have with him before this change, and then how does that relationship grow?
And I think it's when I say that, I'll tell you from my point of view. Ask him. You know, one of my first. I probably shouldn't tell the story, but I will. You know, when he came in our 30-man visit, he came straight to my office and came and give me a come get some lecture. And some of his college coaches are buddies of mine, and some of my best friend in life lives down there, too. And so he knew some things about me anyway, and I thought that was so cool about how he came and on a 30-man visit, you know, on the competitiveness of not being afraid to compete and how he was going to be, and that's what your quarterback should be. And so he and I have had a very good relationship from day one. And one of the things, when you guys are out there, every day in stretch, he's got something he's poking at me. Today, he had so many different things he was poking at me. Some of them we can't repeat or print. Okay, but that's the fun part of it. You know, the business is tough, the game is tough, but you got to have fun. You got to have some locker room fun. You got to have some practice fun. You got to have those kind of things. And when your quarterback is doing it, other people emulate that too. Who is that on defense? We have some of the guys on defense that are doing that too. You know, talking smack and being that way. So, but it'd be good. Ask him. I think it's very good. And I've talked to lots of different people, you know, one-on-one so far. I'll continue doing that the rest of the week leading up to Sunday. And then remember this. When it's more important to them than it is to me and you, look out.
Would you elaborate on your relationship with John Dorsey and extend that to comment on what it needs to be in this new dynamic?
John and I go way back. John and I go back to when he was still playing and I was coaching this league. And I've known him since forever. And have had had tremendous respect for him as a player, and then also had respect for him once he decided foolishly or whatever to go into this business too, and the grind that he had to be in the circuit, and how hard he had to work to come up through scouting and be on the road all over the place. And we used to run into each other in all the different franchises I was at. And he was at Green Bay for all those years, behind the scenes as, an area scout. The respect that I saw him working with, and then when he got the opportunity to move up and continue to move up in the league, we'd always communicate. And friends in this league only come from a respect that you can do your job. And I tease everybody all the time now, I'm not looking for a whole lot of friends in life anymore. If I want a new friend, I'll buy a Labrador. Is that we have no chance of being a friend unless I respect you at your ability to do the job at this level. I respected him for a long time before he continued to move up. And then to be quite truthful, when he ended up coming here, some people came down the hallway and asked me about him before if I knew anything. And I spoke highly of him at that time. I didn't hire him, but they asked my opinion, and I knew of him. And then ever since he's been here, it's been the same way. One of the things that's been fun since he's gotten here, you can ask him this too, is his interaction with me. And he, from the days he came into the building, he was that kind of like a player, like the old player and coach back and forth. Where a lot of other people in the building do that with me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm a pretty nice guy, but he started that right when he came in the building, and everybody else looking at him like, are you begging to get your ass chewed? What's going on? But we've got a great relationship. I respect the job he does. I don't want to do his job, okay? I want to do what I'm asked to do. You can't be a master of all those things at this level. I want to do my job, and that comes from my trust that you can do your job. So we have a good trust with each other.
Almost out of time here. 2 more.
And the only reason I'm sorry is that is because you guys were, as a defensive coordinator, I got meetings here shortly here, so I'm going to get ready to go through the practice film with them.
Considering what happened in New Orleans, did you ever think you would get another chance to be a head coach?
That thing was a long time ago, so that's nothing that we're talking about now.
Can I ask you one question? Now that you're running the whole show, what is your theory on how to improve your pass protection?
A lot of that is communication, is time on task, and we took some steps today. And we took some steps today, on how we went about, doing a particular drill there. But, one of the things that semi-helps a little bit about, I've been an offensive coordinator, quarterback, and all that kind of stuff a long time ago too, the understanding of that. And that is the taking the ownership and getting the communication right, and everybody understanding where we're doing the protection type things, and just take the grayness out of it. I thought they did a really good job today. I thought Freddie did a really good job with that today here. Just, me observing and not getting in the way too much of that. That would be another great question to ask those guys behind the scenes. But, it's a team protection thing, not an individual protection thing. And then, sometimes we put too much pressure on an individual. But now we have to understand how to protect the individual by doing it as a team. And they did a really good job that day in practice. We ended with a competition period today in practice, and the offense smacked the defense. That hadn't happened. That hadn't happened since I've been here. So I don't know. Maybe somebody was listening. I don't know.
Last one you got.
Was Freddie your pick to be the offensive coordinator?
That was done. No, that was done. That wasn't me. That was everybody else.
What does he bring in your mind?
I've watched him coach, and I've coached against him on other teams. And, one of the things I started doing this, Pat, a long time ago, from 1992 on, this is terrible for me to admit this. In 1992 on, I do a scouting thing on every coach in the league. And the reason I did that, it came down to on how Bill Cowher was hired at Pittsburgh when Coach Chuck left. And one of the reasons that Bill got the job was Marty helping Bill have a better staff. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to start doing an evaluation on coaches constantly. So I have a thing where I'm scouting college coaches at all times. I'm scouting pro coaches at all times. And doing interviews with people at all times, because then when it comes time to when you're in charge of making some of those decisions, and it can't be this simple, hire good people, keep good people, get out of the way and let them do their job. You won't get to 2 and 3 unless one's right. So I have been talking for many years behind the scenes on different places that Freddie was at and asking people about him that were working with him at the time, and everything was people that I respect and knew me talked very favorably about him. And then now every day is an interview. I'm watching every single day. I'm in meetings with him. I'm watching on the field. I see he gets it. He knows it. And now it's next man up. He's got to do it just like I got to do it, just like the next player has to do it, and that's what we do at this level.